Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're answering the question, is Jori skincare the best thing over the counter to treat hormonal acne? Hormonal acne is one of the most common skin conditions that adult women will face, and we've talked about this on the channel before. Not too long ago, I did a whole breakdown on my favorite ingredients to treat hormonal acne, both over the counter and prescription. And then a little while back, we talked to Sarah Waldock. She's one of the co-founders of Balm Labs, and they specifically also treat hormonal acne using over-the-counter skincare. The newest player in the hormonal acne skincare over the counter is Jori Skincare. Here is the two products that they've come out with so far, and it is an acne and oil control primer and a daily leave-on acne treatment mask. So these two products contain active ingredients of 2% salicylic acid for the acne and oil control primer and 2.5% micronized benzoyl peroxide for the daily leave-on acne treatment mask. Now I'm going to do an unboxing. We're going to see what these ingredients feel like. I'm going to talk about my opinion of them, but before we do that, I did sit down with the medical advisor to Jori Skincare, and that's Dr. Josh Zeichner. He's a dermatologist in New York City. I won't give too much away, but Josh is a longtime friend of mine, and his wife had struggled with hormonal acne and came to him because she didn't really like a lot of the products that she was finding over the counter, and she wanted something that was easy to use every single day. So she worked with her husband, Dr. Josh Zeichner, and they developed these products. You'll get to hear that story in his own words and learn a little bit about why he formulated the products the way that he did. After that interview, I'm going to do my unboxing, and I'm going to put timestamps for everything down in the video description. So if you want to jump ahead to something, you can get right to it by checking out the timestamps. But we're going to get into that interview with Dr. Josh Zeichner now. Welcome, Dr. Zeichner.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to catch up again a little bit. For the audience, we first met in person back in January at the Winter Clinical Conference, which, luckily we were able to go to Hawaii for that. We got to do a TikTok and an Instagram video together. And so it's kind of fun to catch up again. Of course, we've known each other on social media for a long time, but what's new going on in your world? I know we're going to talk about your skincare quick, but just to catch up for a second.
Yeah, it just feels like life is on its way back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we're still wearing masks in the office, and I don't think that masks are going away in healthcare anytime soon. But at least, for the rest of the aspects of our life, we're kind of going back to 2019.
Yeah. Well, it's a good feeling to start to feel that normalcy come back, because you practice in New York City. This was the hub of where things hit first.
Yeah.
So if you can start to feel the normalcy, it's encouraging.
Yeah, New York is back. It was really deserted and quite a depressing or upsetting place to be for a while. But everybody's out. The restaurants are open again, and we're kind of almost where we were pre-pandemic.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm excited to come back and visit. I did visit a couple times during the pandemic. Things were definitely different, but I'll be coming back later in the summer, and I'm excited to see the city in full swing. So
great.
But we're here to talk about a new project that you've been working on behind the scenes for quite some time. You gave me a little sneak peek of it a few months ago, that something big was coming, and now it's here, and that's Jori Skincare, and you are officially the medical advisor to Jori Skincare. That's right?
Yeah. So Jori is a collaboration that I worked on with my wife, whose first name is Corey. So it was Dr. Josh. J is the J in the Jori, and Corey is the Ori. So Josh and Corey is Jori. And this is the first dermatologist line specifically made to treat adult acne.
Mm-hmm. And that's a huge area of unmet need. What was kind of the motivation behind that to get into that for you or for your wife as a collaboration?
Sure. So as you probably know, my medical interest is acne and rosacea, and I have, published and lectured, around the world on acne. And as it happens, my wife started breaking out with adult acne for the first time about 5 years ago or so. And the big joke that we have is that the first time she ever saw a dermatologist was our first date, because growing up, she always had clear skin. And she initially had a couple of breakouts here and there in the lower part of her face. And on her own, without even speaking to me, she went to the drugstore and started treating it. And then as it continued to get worse, and I noticed that she started getting some irritation on the lower face, I ended up getting her under control with prescription medications, but the whole experience opened her eyes to what was on the market. And while there are so many great acne treatment products, what she felt was missing was something that was made for her particular skin needs. And if she didn't have me, and she didn't have access to a dermatologist, what products would she be using for her adult breakouts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not everybody has access to a handsome dermatologist in the same house. So, so that, you know, it was very much a personal thing for her to get into. This is a passion project. This is, you know, something that put a lot of thought into it before you put pen to paper and started to figure out what you wanted to do with this line. So as a collaboration, she knew what was needed on the market, and you knew the science behind the products that you were using by prescription, a lot of the things that were available over the counter. What did you turn to when you started to look at what ingredients you wanted to pull into Jori skincare?
Sure. So, you know, as you said, she knew what she wanted and what she didn't want. She wanted products that had sophisticated textures that she was used to in her other anti-aging products. And she wanted treatments that truly would become part of the skincare regimen, not something that was an add-on acne treatment, something that was really a core. She knew she didn't want certain ingredients. And I know the word clean is a bit polarizing and there are no specific definitions, but we formulated the line without fragrances, parabens, phthalates, sulfates, or cyclic silicones. She wanted something that can be used along with makeup. She wanted something that wasn't irritating. And she wanted something that looked nice on her shelf. So those were, you know, because I was, sorry. Wait, look, if we can just cut that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can
say something that looked nice on her shelf. And then we can say a lot of the treatments for acne that she had used previously, she was hiding in her bottom drawer. So she wanted something that she would be proud to keep out and would look nice on her shelfie. Her background actually is all in fashion. And we have a pink and red bottle that was actually inspired by a dress that Mandy wore on the red carpet. And my wife saw it, loved it. And she said, this is the bottle.
Yeah.
So she brought all of that patient and consumer, perspective. And then she came to me and said, okay, formulate it. So as, you know, a researcher in acne, what I did was I reviewed all of the published literature and basic science research in sebaceous gland biology and oil gland biology and pathophysiology or causes of acne, and found that there were a couple of themes that emerged. And these themes were hormones, diet, stress, and actually compositional differences in the natural oil or sebum of the skin in people who have acne. And we selected a botanical blend that addressed each of these. So the botanicals are really the supporting characters, and the acne treatments are ingredients that you've heard of: salicylic acid and benzoyl peroxide. These are true OTC acne treatments compliant with the FDA OTC monograph for acne treatment products.
Yep.
But while they're ingredients that you've heard of, we're truly creating something new with the botanical blend and the aesthetics. It's like, you know, you have the recipe and you have the ingredients, but you're creating a completely different meal.
Yeah.
And I think we truly have achieved that. It took over 3 years to develop it.
Yeah, I know there's when you're formulating a product from a ground up, it is a painstaking process to know what you want, how you want it to feel, the ingredients. Then once you think you've got it down, you've got to do stability testing. You've got to make sure that it's going to, you know, not grow things inside of it, bacteria or mold. And I can't even begin to guess how many iterations you must have gone through to get to the final products. But, with your background, you're definitely the guy to do it.
Yeah, it must have been at least 10. And then we went through extensive safety testing because, you know, when you look at adult skin, one of the big issues is potential sensitivity, dryness, irritation. And, you know, in all of our human repeat insult patch testing and other safety testing, the products were just so well tolerated that it can be used for daily use.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit on a lot of good things there. Obviously sensitivity can be a big issue. We know that individuals with acne have barrier dysfunction. That plays a role in why they're getting acne. They have that excess inflammation, so their immune system is primed to become irritated against more things. You talked about just the way it looks on the shelf, the way that it plays with makeup and things like that. Just today, I had a patient who we were changing up a couple of things for acne using prescription medications. and they asked about using it with certain, serums and things. And I'm like, I just don't think this is going to play well with, your makeup or with, the expensive serum that you have or something like that. So having something that can help to address the acne that works well with makeup and with the other skincare ingredients somebody wants to use, I think that's huge. I think there's a huge market need for that. And I think you've really tapped into something big there.
And I actually have some exciting news to share. So Daniel Martin is a celebrity makeup artist. He actually did Meghan Markle's makeup. And he gave us a shout out on the Breaking Beauty podcast that he loved the primer. And it plays really nicely with makeup, but it can be worn on its own to minimize the appearance of pores, reduce shine, and of course, prevent and treat breakouts, or under makeup, just to help that makeup go on smoother and stay on longer.
Sure, which it's huge. That's huge. And that's a great endorsement to have. What kind of testing did you do other than safety testing to get, clinical data or results? Were you doing patient surveys? Did you do blinded studies? What kind of things went into making sure these products work well for people?
Yeah, so we stayed compliant with the OTC acne monograph using tried and true ingredients. And we did some testing among my patients. We don't yet have the specific data that's publishable to make claims. And that's always challenging for small startups. When you look at big companies that have huge pockets and huge dollars behind them, they're able to do these large clinical studies to have at launch. But a lot of it was our own kind of in-house testing and testing on my patients.
Yeah, which is really valuable. I mean, you're one of the most well-known acne and rosacea specialists in, the Northeast US, even throughout the whole US. You were just in Arizona, right? Lecturing to a group of PAs. So, I mean, you are one of the top acne dermatologists in the country. And so the fact that you've used it on your patients, the fact that you're using tried and true OTC drugs that are already approved by the FDA, and with your science background, I have no doubt that what you've put together is going to be very effective for, patients and really address those needs. And then things like, the rigorous clinical studies, they're valuable, they're nice to have. And, that kind of stuff can come. But just to provide reassurance to viewers, you're not taking shortcuts here. Like you have the chops, you have the credentials and the knowledge to really put together a good product. And so I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, for everybody out there, there are just marketing regulations on what you can and cannot say. And unless I have every T crossed and every I dotted, I'm just not prepared to make any public claims. But what I will tell you is that when you see acne treatment products making claims that they're going to clear your face overnight or in a week, the reality is that the endpoint of clinical trials for acne treatments really don't show significant improvements for at least a month of continuous use. And it takes, for clinical trials, the primary endpoints are 12 weeks. So that's 3 months of continuous use. So I'll tell everybody out there, you need to continue to use the products. But we're using ingredients like maximum strength 2% salicylic acid and micronized 2.5% benzoyl peroxide, which are generally recognized and as safe and effective from the FDA. So that's why we did it. And if you have other products out there that say that they're for acne-prone skin or to address blemishes, these are not true acne treatments. And that's marketing mumbo jumbo to get away from the fact that they're not compliant with FDA regulations.
Yeah, that's a really good point. When we see products that you're purchasing in the acne island, they're for, oily prone skin, to treat blemishes, they're purposely avoiding medical claims because they haven't put in the work to get there. And you're making medical claims because you have OTC drugs.
Yeah, and a lot of thought went into the formula. So for example, we used 2.5% micronized benzoyl peroxide, a really specialized formula. Studies have shown that 2.5% is as effective but less irritating than 5 or 10%. Plus, the micronization brings down the particle size of that benzoyl peroxide smaller than the diameter of the follicle. So the goal is to have the benzoyl peroxide penetrate deep into the pore where acne begins And there are a lot of poorly formulated products that have, 10% benzoyl peroxide that just sits on the surface of the skin and causes irritation and is not even as effective.
Right. No, that's a great point. You've got great formulations here, it sounds like. I'm excited to start using them. I'm going to share them with my wife as well. And, just keep hearing more feedback. We are going to share a link to the products here in the video description and in the podcast show notes. And we'll be having a discount code available as well, probably a time-limited discount code. So if you're watching this, get on it quick because the code won't be there forever. And Dr. Josh, I just want to thank you for your time. And if there's any other parts you want to cover about Jori Skincare, or are there other products, maybe you can't tell us exactly, but are we going to see more products coming in the Jori line?
Yeah, so, two things I'll say. So first of all, at time of launch, we actually won a Shape Magazine 2022 Skin Award and a Cosmopolitan 2022 Holy Grail Beauty Award, which is really great. The products were tested and vetted by the beauty editors. Just to really quickly touch on the botanical blend. So we have saw palmetto to balance the effect of DHT on the skin. We have omega-3 fatty acids to balance the impact of a sugary diet. We have Chinese skullcap to balance the effects of stress. And then we have linoleic acid, which is deficient in the oil of patients who naturally have acne. And then a whole bunch of other goodies in there. A lot went into it.
Well, I'm excited to try it as well as share it. And I know that the audience is probably going to have great feedback for us as well. So thank you for your time. I'm excited to get the word out there about Jori Skincare.
Thanks so much for having me.
We'll talk again soon. So if you checked out that interview, thank you very much for watching. And now we're going to get to the unboxing as I talk about the products and what I think about them. So the two products again are the Acne and Oil Control Primer and the Daily Leave-On Acne Treatment Mask. We're going to unbox the Acne and Oil Control Primer first. And it's in a pretty simple box here. Got to break the seal. And here we have the pretty basic tube. They didn't put a lot of money into the packaging because the packaging is not what's going to fix your acne. So we haven't dived into the texture of the formula. I know that 2% salicylic acid is a good over-the-counter treatment, and that's about as high as you can get in salicylic acid in an over-the-counter product. So when we open that up, we've got just a simple little dropper style here. And we're going to put that on the skin on the back of my hand here. And this is kind of like a gel texture. I know that might be hard to see, but we'll do some close-ups there. But so I like the feel of that. I kind of like gel skincare products. You've heard me talk about the Mantle, Invisible Daily SPF sunscreen. So this is a nice texture in this gel, and it has a matte finish to it. So this would be really good, I think, as an oil control type of product. The salicylic acid is going to be very helpful, but you can put that on and it does kind of leave you a matte finish. It's not really shiny, and the salicylic acid is great to treat acne. So I like the texture, the ingredients are good, and I think this would do a good job of helping to control oil and to treat acne. When we look at the directions for use, this says it should be applied to clean skin, and because salicylic acid can be drying, to start with once a day, but you could work up to 2 to 3 times a day. I think that could be a little challenging for any woman that wears makeup. I don't think that you're going to want to put that on over a face full of makeup, so something you can definitely start with in the morning before you put on your makeup. I think things would play well with this texture when it comes to different types of makeup, or you could put it on at night before you go to bed. But it's going to be hard to do 2 to 3 times a day, as it says on the box, just because if you're wearing a face full of makeup, you don't want to put on another layer of something like this and then have to reapply all of your makeup. Salicylic acid can be a little bit drying, so you do have to be aware of that. Starting once a day is good, but you may have to start, if you have sensitive skin, with even just a couple of times a week using a product like that with 2% salicylic acid when it's meant to be left on the skin. The second product is the Daily Leave-On Acne Treatment Mask. The active ingredient here is a 2.5% micronized benzoyl peroxide, and we heard in the interview with Dr. Zeichner that micronized benzoyl peroxide is better than your typical benzoyl peroxide. Those smaller particle sizes are able to get down in the hair follicle and more effectively treat and kill the bacteria that contribute to acne. We're going to pop this one open as well. I got to break that seal. And another plastic tube here. This has a little bit different shape, so you're not going to mix up the two products. And when we pop the lid open here, just a little bit different applicator as well. So the products are both 1.5 ounces, but the bottles are different, so you're not going to confuse the two. Some important things to know about benzoyl peroxide is that is a peroxide. It can bleach fabric. It can stain fabric. So this is something you want to be careful with if you're doing it as a leave-on daily mask. If you're putting it on in the morning and then you're pulling over a black t-shirt or black blouse or something like that over your face, it could start to turn that orange. So you have to be very careful about that. If you're putting this on and then going to bed and you have blue or black or any dark colored pillowcase, it could start to turn that orange or bleach it over time. So you do have to be careful with anything that has benzoyl peroxide in it. That's not a limitation of this particular formula. That's just the fact of benzoyl peroxide bleaches things. I do like that this is only a 2.5% benzoyl peroxide because it's meant to be left on the skin. When you treat with a 5 to 10% benzoyl peroxide in a leave-on product, you're much more likely to get irritation. And that's going to make you not want to use the product. It's going to create excess inflammation in the skin and may actually make acne worse. So the fact that this is a low percentage benzoyl peroxide means that it's less irritation. However, studies have shown that benzoyl peroxide is just as efficacious at 2.5% as it is at 10%. So that's not something where you think more is better. More is just going to be more irritating, but it hasn't been shown to be clinically better at improving your acne. So we're going to pop that open and give this a feel as well on the back of the hand. And this is not the gel that the salicylic acid product is, but this is a really lightweight lotion. It goes on very smooth. And I'm going to be careful with my black scrubs with the benzoyl peroxide, of course. Not a strong fragrance at all, so they're not formulating this with a bunch of added fragrance in it. And that is a really lightweight lotion, so that would go on. That'd be fine to leave on the skin all day if it's not causing any irritation for you. And that is the benzoyl peroxide leave-on daily mask. Now, we can expect other products to come from Jori in the future, but we don't really know much about those yet, and understandably, Dr. Zeichner isn't going to tell us all about that right now. But overall, I think these are good products. I think that they would do as well as any other over-the-counter product that has those same active ingredients in it. The active ingredients are not revolutionary or groundbreaking here. There's only so much you can choose from when you're formulating for consumer use in over-the-counter products. Salicylic acid and benzoyl peroxide are kind of the market leaders there, and you can certainly find a lot of other skincare products that have those in it. You don't necessarily have to rush and buy Jori. I think the texture is really nice. I think that would make it easier to use than like a store brand product, but there's other premium products that also include salicylic acid and less so benzoyl peroxide. I haven't found a ton of really cosmetically elegant benzoyl peroxide products, but more in the salicylic acid area. When it comes to price, how much are you going to pay if you decide to get these? So the Acne and Oil Control Primer is listed on the website for $70, whereas the Daily Leave-On Acne Treatment Mask is $52. And those are both pretty big price tags for over-the-counter acne treatments. You'll certainly be able to find products that have a lower price point that have the same active ingredients. What you'll need to look for though is, do you like the texture of those products? Are they easy to use? Is it micronized benzoyl peroxide? Because that is going to be more effective than just an Equate brand benzoyl peroxide that's not micronized. So those are important things to consider. They are a little bit higher price point there. If you guys want a discount on these products, I did speak to Dr. Zeichner and I will have one. It's going to be time limited. So if you're watching this video 2 years from now, you're probably not going to get that discount. But if you're watching that video soon after release, it's probably going to be good for about 30 days from the time of release. If you do decide to try the Jori products, I would love to have your feedback on it. I'm going to be sharing these with my wife and let her try it. She does get some hormonal acne as well. So I would like to hear your feedback. Let me know in the comments if you try it, or if you have another acne product that you love, definitely let me know about that as well. We talked about Balm Labs in the past. If you've tried that, I would love to hear your feedback. I simply can't try and use everything for 6 to 8 weeks that it takes to make sure that it's effective. So something like this, I'm going to rely on your feedback and my wife's feedback. So Jori RX, Jori Skincare, really good feeling products. They have the right active ingredients. I really like the formulation behind it and the mind behind it with Dr. Josh Zeichner. I know that he put a lot of thought and work into it, as well as his wife Corey, and that's a great collaboration there. The price is a little bit higher than a lot of other over-the-counter acne products with similar active ingredients, so that may be a limitation to some of you, but I want to know if you try them, let me know. If you guys have other topics you want me to talk about or other products you want me to unbox, let me know in the comments. And hormonal acne being so common, share this video with somebody who might benefit from it, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys on the next video.